All right, lads, welcome back to me podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy. Mick Thomas here. How are you? Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, and all that stuff, and coming back over. I appreciate that. I'm on YouTube, of course. You know that if you're watching it right now on YouTube, and if you're not, maybe head over there. You get to see my lovely face. Although I do have two fucking craters. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Growing on the side of my head. Just disgusting. Just, I don't know what happened. Look like a homeless. You know when homeless people get those big, massive things on the side of their head that's only there just from filth. That's what I have. Yeah, so go to YouTube and check out my filth holes on the side of my face. Yeah, you can, check out the podcast wherever you're getting the podcast, people. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. Although one doesn't know how long more this train has, how much track has on this comedy train of mine between podcast and stand-up. We don't know where it goes. We don't know where it ends. We don't know if we run out of tracks. Maybe roads. Where we're going, we won't need roads. Comic strip, December 10, December 11th. I will be there for 4 shows, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, and I will be recording my special. It's a whole hour of stand-up material that I like, and I will be getting rid of and just putting it out there into the internet world. So please come on down and see those. Tickets are selling. Tickets always sell there anyway, regardless. I don't need your help. I mean that with all the love and respect, because the comic strip always sells out. It's just because, if you want to come, if you're a fan of mine, you want to come see this stand-up, I would go now and try to get the tickets for December 10, December 11. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. My filmography, my camera crew has been a bit of a cunt right now, but I'm sure it's not deliberate, but we will figure that part out, a bit later. Why did I choose the comic strip? Because I love the comic strip. It's my favorite comedy club in the world, I gotta say. Out of all the clubs I work and the venues I work, I did like McGuire's a lot. McGuire's being, of course, close to my house, but it's just a different energy at the comic strip. No disrespect to McGuire's, of course, but yeah, the comic strip is absolutely fascinating. I love the comic strip. It's great crew, great crowd, great shows there always. I was there this weekend. Had 2 shows on Friday and then 1 show on Saturday, and it was fucking great, man. Just electric. It felt really good to be on stage. The audiences were great. The audiences were honest. I did tell a room full of women, like the whole room, every woman in the place, I told them all to shut the fuck up, and the men applauded me for it, which was nice. It just came about. I just was doing this new bit I was working on about pissing in the sink. I'll pause there for a moment, let all that settle in. Yeah, because as men, we've all pissed in the sink at some stage in our lives, right? And if you're driving right now with your husband or boyfriend, and you're going to turn to him and go, is he right? Is he telling the truth? Do you piss in the sink? And he's probably going, foreigners, honey, right? Hang on, there's a call. Is that okay? No. Hang on. Because I fucking knew I should have put it on the thing. Not yet. I should have put it on. I have a weird guerrilla way of recording this, so let me just put this on here again. So now while that's processing. All right, so now we're taking it away again. Sorry, a technical difficulty. I like an idiot. My phone. I always put my phone on kind of sleep mode, like do not disturb mode, but of course this episode I didn't do it, and nobody calls me. Nobody ever tries to call me during it, but of course now someone's calling me like a fucking idiot. I didn't now I gotta edit it differently and set up it, whatever, and I'm not a tech guy, so that's stressing me out now. But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. But what was I talking about? Pissing in the sink. So when you're driving along with your spouse, don't turn to him and go, was he right? We do, as men, we all piss in the sink, and this is not the bit. I think there's something weird about when comics do their bits on a podcast. I've tried bits out here. I've started them off on the podcast and then taken them to the stage, but I don't really like to go to the stage and then take them back to the podcast. I think that's bleh. So anyway, when I remember the first time I pissed in the sink is like I would watch up late at night in Ireland, and the bathroom was upstairs and I was downstairs watching the telly, and I didn't want to run upstairs. A part of me would say, like, I don't want to wake my brothers and sisters up and my mother and father, but I knew I was just lazy, and I just the sink is in the kitchen. It's like 25 feet away, if that, right? Maybe 15 feet away. I'm making it seem like I have a bigger house. I grew up in a bigger house than I did, and I would just go into the kitchen. There'd be no dishes in there, and I would just piss in the sink. But I would start talking about pissing in the sink, and to do the bit on stage. And this is not none of the bit here, and and every woman in there, like I asked every guy, did they do it, and they all go yes. And every single man I asked, I think I asked maybe 10 going around the room. Sorry, do you piss in the sink? Do you piss in the sink? And they all said yes. And there was a lot of women kind of just giving. I know, like kind of like a big fight broke out in the club between the women and I was just like, so I just went, shut the fuck up. Every woman shut the fuck up in here. And and it was great. It was like I created a safe place for men, and it's true, man. It's fucking true. It's like when we admit this shit like that bothers us, right? And this is a thing too. Like when it comes to mental health, like nobody gives a fuck. I was thinking about doing a podcast actually with a friend of mine, Corey, and we're talking about it, and it's possible it's going to happen. I don't want to start talking about it just yet in case, but it is a podcast all dealing with mental health and stuff. It will be funny, but it's really kind of got a serious theme to it. And we talked about it this weekend briefly. We might do it. We never know. We might pull the trigger and do it sooner rather than later. And but that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like and I joked about it on stage, like saying like these men are opening up right now, and immediately women are shutting them down. And that's very common, believe it or not, in the world. That like when men go through mental health issues, they go to their partner. And I'm not saying this is specifically for me or anything, but I just from talking to people. They will open up and it will just get shut down. Like nobody wants to hear it because you're not supposed to have any mental health problems. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to have them, especially like as a man. You're supposed to just fucking suck it up and get on with it. And that kind of, and I kind of snapped a little bit on stage, but I did it in a comedic way. And I was like, look, this is why suicide men is so high, because we fucking open up, and then what happens? We get shit on. It gets used against us. We look weak. I read a book about this actually, which was kind of a book I didn't really take seriously, but a part of me did. And I gotta look up the name. Maybe I'll find it for the podcast because it's in my history for audiobooks. And it's basically about like why a man shouldn't open up, because I like to read different sides of it. And it was all about how when a man opens up, a woman will smell the softness of a man, and they're like, I can't fuck with this guy anymore now, because he's not an alpha male anymore. Right? He's not an alpha. He's a fucking beta male. And you can go out there all you want to and pretend, lads, that this new generation of men, which is fine. You live your life, man. It's your journey. It's your journey. You do you, as the kids are saying. It's your journey. But when you go out there and you are like a beta male, as they call it, that's fine. That's fine. But when shit happens, you're going to need the alpha male. Now, I realize as I said that I'm wearing an army jacket, which is just a jacket, by the way. I never served in any army at all, so I want that out there, and it's a coincidence I'm wearing an army jacket. But so yeah, we're supposed to be these tough guys, right? We're not supposed to open up with problems, and then women say you do. We want a sensitive guy, but when they open up, again, this is from a book I read. When they do open up, the women kind of, their vaginas just close up. It's like it dried up for some reason. It just dried up. It's like the shelves after a hurricane warning on Long Island. People just run out and just rip the shelves apart. And like, what are you doing? We're in our house for 4 days maximum. Why do you need that much food? But anyway, and the vaginas dry up like those shelves. And it's true, it's so these women out there, and they're saying like they want they don't. We want a sensitive guy, but when a guy is sensitive, they will fucking run for the hills. Mostly. That's not for every woman out there, by the way. I don't want you out there crying, but mostly. So we'll be tackling that, I think, on the podcast, the mental health one I'm going to be doing with men. I think it's a podcast really is just for men. But women, you can listen in for our perspective. If you want some cheat sheets on how to deal with men who go through mental problems, you listen in. And I'll get the details of that out as we go along. It'll be in the very near future, I think. We'll get it up and running. But anyway, so yeah, and the book I was reading was about like when men turn into beta males, like how the women deep down don't want them. Yeah, you'll date them, but deep down you'll end up going for some male who's an alpha, who's a bit of an asshole. So the problem is then women don't find alpha males that are nice guys. You just find alphas who are assholes, and then you'll complain about how all men are assholes, and you'll end up going back to your betas again, but you won't be happy in the beta, so you'll go back to the alpha again. And the cycle repeats itself. So when I was on stage and I was talking about, I didn't go into that, obviously, detail, that's something I cover in my book, but I just kind of like how women were just like, wouldn't let these guys open up about pissing in the sink. They were just, yeah, it's dirty, it's disgusting, and I gave my reasons, and if I gave my reasons here, it would kind of turn into the bit, and I don't want to do that. I feel like dirty, like I'm doing like a radio DJ. You turn up on a you know, when you travel around the country and you do these morning radio shows. Hey Mick, so you just flew here. What was your flight like? And I go, well, Chaz, let me tell you about the airplane food. And then I'm in a bit of it. You know, it's fucking disgusting. Like, you feel dirty doing it, and I never did it. I just used to go and hang out, and I don't want to hear, like, I'm not setting you up for one. So what are your bits you want to talk about? So the traffic is terrible. Tell me. And no, traffic was fine actually here this morning. I didn't have a problem. So you like staying in hotels, right? Did you ever have any weird incidents happen in hotels? Nope, hotels have been normal for me. And you just watch them sweat. Just watch them fucking sweat. It's hilarious to me. Why do I go off track all the time? I forget, and I can't come back. It's the weirdest fucking thing. So anyway, that was the thing. So I was on stage talking about that, like about how suicide with men is so high, and it's like, it's funny because women just don't want to hear it. Women don't want to hear it, and they pretend they do. And like, I'm a listener. You're not women. You're really not a listener. You're not a deep listener. You all pretend you are, but deep down you're not. Maybe there's one or two out there. Let me not speak for all of you. Just one or two, I'm sure. You're great. If you're listening to it, you're great, right? You can make it about you right now. Because that's what a lot of females do too. If a guy does go to them with their mental health problems, it's like, well, here's how I feel. Yeah, it's just shut the fuck up and let him talk. Just let him talk. That's it. And then you start talking. He goes, you know what? Next time I'm just going like, hey, honey, you okay? No, I'm fine. Like, they just don't want to talk about it anymore. Whatever. I'll go into detail about that. That was on a weird tangent there. I didn't mean any of that. I mean, I did mean it, but I wasn't expected to go on that road. But whatever. So anyway, the comic strip, I had the best time there this weekend. I really did. I really did. I love the comic strip, and I will be there December 10th and 11th for 2 shows. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and I will be recording the special. I'll be doing 40 minutes on each show, taking pieces out and chopping them around, edit it together to make it into a full hour. But each show will be different. That's the good thing about it, for at least for my sanity. Each show will be different, so I can chop and get the material out and piece it together like a Frankenstein of comedy, if that makes sense. And that, by the way, that's not me being ghetto. That's what all comedy specials are, by the way. They're never, very rarely are they one and done. Right? All the big boys do it. They all do like 2 or 3 shows, and then they take bits from the best ones and put it all together. So they wear the same outfit for each show. So don't think for a second that, well, I watched Bill Burr do it in one go. No. 3 shows, maybe 4, sometimes 2, but they never do one. They never do one. So I went to a pottery class. That's what I really wanted to talk about. 13 minutes in. I went with the missus to a pottery class, and she goes to pottery a lot, and I just was asked to go along. And I went, and you know, you walk in there, and the first thing you think about is it like Ghost, where you're just, you know what I mean? Do I have to take my shirt off for everybody in this room right now? And the Righteous Brothers sing Unchained Melody. I was impressed that I knew the band and the song. Fuck me, that was good, Mick. So you go in and you get your clay and you slick on the wheel, and you know it's weird. And the weird thing about pottery classes, they ask you what do you want to make, and you're just really gonna say whatever it turns out to be. Like, you've no goal in mind. You're not gonna sit there like, I'm gonna make a mug with a handle. I'm gonna make you know, like a vase or vase, depends on how you pronounce it. I'm just going to smack this clay together, and whatever shape it takes, I'm going to go, that's what it is. Because when we did it in school, we would take pottery in school in Ireland, and you were like 10 years of age, 11, 12, 13, you would make these, like, you were making an ashtray. And your teacher, what are you making an ashtray? Like, you're 10, do you smoke? No, I don't. And you would make a fucking, just a horrible ashtray. And, you know, and so when you go as an adult to a pottery class, basically what you do is you make something that, you know, when your kid makes you something for Father's Day or Mother's Day, and you would kind of just want to smash it against the wall, but you don't because it would break their heart and it'd put them in therapy for years. you kind of go, oh, I'm going to put that up there. I am. And then it goes up for about 2 weeks. And then you keep, yeah, and then you just chuck it out. You don't even keep it in a box. And like, oh, remember that years ago when you just fucking chuck it out. So now you're an adult and you get to make something. And as you're walking out, you get to drop it in the bin right in front of the woman who gave you the instructions to make it. However, mine wasn't completed. I was supposed to go back and put a glaze on it. Now that's kind of like that's kind of like a segue to what I was talking about. Like, pottery is very sexual, right? The words of it, so you can look it up online. They call it spinning and that kind of stuff, right? You spin the clay, or center the clay, and it is sexual. Like it's like there's a lot of pegging. Like the words pegging are used a lot in it. So you're sitting there and they go, you got to peg the clay. You're like, all right, you got to peg it, yeah. And then you got to slap the air out of it. So you got to slap it, just like, right? You got to slap it, and it makes the same noise if you're slapping an arse. I swear to God, it's like you're slapping an arse. You just want to go to the clay, you know, what's my name, right? Do you know what I mean? Like you want to talk dirty to the clay. And then you have to stick, she says, stick your finger in the center of it and go into your, like a knuckle deep. She kept saying, like, you have to be aware of what you're saying, lady. Go knuckle deep. Go knuckle deep. So once you go for knuckle deep, then just put the whole finger in. This is what she's saying. You're sitting there going, the whole finger in. And then she goes, you know what? Then when you get the whole finger in, now go for 2 fingers. So the thing is still spinning. And yeah, you put 2 fingers in, right? And you're doing it. You're doing like 2 fingers in. And she goes, and if the hole is wide enough, you know what? You might as well put 3. So you're like, all right, like what the fuck? So you put the 3rd finger in. She goes, and now that you have it, I want you to just pull back on the wall, and then turn your hand around a little bit and go up and kind of slowly. And like, this makes more sense if you're watching on YouTube. And I'm like, what the fuck? She goes, yeah, and just keep getting it wet, keep getting it wet. And I just kind of say, like, did you take me here for a reason? Like, is there something you want to tell me that you just could have told me instead of bringing me to a class? Is this really a pottery class? Do you want to just make a big ceramic cock and just fucking get out of here real quick? And it was just the weirdest experience. I didn't realize how sexual making a. So then it turns out to be. It turns out to just be. It took the shape of a. She goes, "What do you want to make?" I was like, "I look like a bowl." I go, just a bowl, just a regular bowl. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." I was like, because I didn't have the skill or the patience to make something good. I just made what it looked like. And then there's a guy there with a ponytail. There's always a guy with a fucking ponytail in every art class. Ponytail, smelling like weed, and he walks up to you and he just checks your work. And at the point, like, I was like, all right, let it go. He's like, no, do it this way, do it that. And I was like, all right, well, the instructor lady told me to pull it back. He goes, yeah, but just go in the inside. Like, all right, so I figure this guy works here too. And then she's like, why are you doing that? I goes, well, he told me. He goes, no, you have to do it this way. And then he comes over and he's like, well, I kind of told him it better. She goes, no, we don't teach like that. So then I was there. I kind of said to him, I turned to the guy, I was like, do you work here? He's like, no, I just come like, what the fuck are you doing over here then? Mind your fucking business, you ponytailed having cunt. Mind your fucking business. I'm trying to, like, it's already embarrassing. And then he comes over again. He's like, why are you doing it like that? I go, I don't know, because it's my fucking first time and I literally don't know what I'm doing. Did you ever think of that? Why am I rubbing the sponge on it that way? Because I don't know what I'm doing, mate. I don't know what I'm doing. How about that? Because it's my first time doing it. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, how many, has anyone ever done, you've seen someone do something for the first time? You go, why the fuck would you do that? I've seen comedians get up on stage for the first time. They're not comedians, but you know what I mean. I want to try it because people at work said I'm funny. And they get up and I would never say it to them. Like, why did you do it like that way? Because it's their first fucking time, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking, it was infuriating. He was infuriating. I mean, it was still fun. I had fun. Did I get Chinese food after? I don't remember. I think I may have just made a sandwich. A tuna sandwich and turkey on it. I can't remember. But I just, it was a good time. It was a good time. There was chocolate there at the end of it too. And they were like, yeah, you want to make an appointment? So basically, it was like $55. And it's in Patchogue by the Long Island if you want to go. Just don't go the night I'm there. And, you know, so basically I paid, and I have to go back again to finish it. So now I think I'm paying $110 for a bowl that I wouldn't ever eat Cheerios out of. Basically, it's going to happen. Right? Once I finish it, I have to glaze it. And then come back again and color it, and then paint it, and then I can come back and eat my Cheerios out of it. So I'm basically paying 110. I was at IKEA last week, and I saw 4 bowls, 4 plates, 4 saucers, 4 mugs, and 4 bowls for $19.99. Good ones. Really good ones. Nice colour too. I don't know the name of the colour. It's one of those colours that doesn't have a name. You know what I mean? And I'm basically going to spend $110 on a fucking bowl that I know for a fact once I pour the milk into the Cheerios, the milk's just going to sprout out through fucking holes I didn't see. That's what's going to be there. So give Pottery a go, they say. It'll be fun, they say. And whatever. So like I said, December 10th and 11th, come down to the comic strip. I don't think they check for vaccine, by the way. I'm just saying. So if you're not vaccinated and you think to yourself, oh, I would love to go to the city, but they're vaccinated, they're checked the vaccination, you're going to be fine at the comic strip. I promise. Anyway, so yeah, go to the comic strip. 2 shows on the 10th, 2 shows on the 11th. Tickets available at thecomicstrip.com. I'll be recording my special. Could be my last time on stage. You get to go witness it. Go be part of it. Or don't give a fuck and just watch it for free when I put it on YouTube. Either way, I'd love to see. Come in and look at the tree from a distance. Because I think you're not allowed to look at the tree without a mask on, right? They don't make it a family day. Go into the city, go to the High Line, look at the tree, get something to eat, come see one of my shows, get in your car and fuck off home. Great way to start the holidays in December. Anyway, thanks so much for listening, liking, subscribing and sharing. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. And as usual, wash your hands, you dirty fuckers. And good luck to you. Good luck to you.